All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video on game day. All right, first let's mention Pig and a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Get the brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Niners and the Rams. The 49ers made a move on Saturday. They elevated cornerback Trace Swilling from the practice squad. Swilling signed a reserve future contract back in February. He was waived as an undrafted free agent by the Tennessee Titans last year. He also spent time on the Saints practice squad in 2022. He appeared in 42 games in college at Georgia Tech, 40 starts. He had 23 passes defensed. He did not run a fast 40 coming out of college. In fact, he ran 4.67. But he's a great athlete, though. He has 37-inch vertical. And he's likely going to take Samuel Womack's position as a gunner on special teams. So let's talk a little bit about Trace Swilling. He came to Georgia Tech as a highly rated recruit, and he showed flashes of being a top-notch cornerback for the Yellow Jackets. He was never able to quite put it all together, and that's why he's, kind of a middling NFL prospect. He was an instant impact player for Georgia Tech after coming to Atlanta as a four-star recruit. So he started 11 games as a true freshman, played in every game but one. He had 24 tackles, one sack, and an interception in the 2018 season. He was able to start in every game during the 2019 season, and he was named an All-ACC honorable mention player. He had a career-high 10 pass deflections in 2019 as well. As I said, he didn't run a great 40 time at Indy coming out. He ran 4.67. Which is, that's slow. That's slow for a corner. He also only had 15 bench press reps, which is not a real high number either. But the vertical jump of 37 inches shows you what kind of lower body explosiveness Swilling has. He's got below average long speed. So he's much better around the line of scrimmage. 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's his sweet spot. If you try to test him down the field, that's where he's susceptible to getting burned. He's got very average long speed, and he's not the most fluid hip guy either, so that limits his ability to mirror receivers up and down the field. He lacks some explosiveness. He doesn't really mirror and stick with receivers at the top of their routes. And so when you watch him, his timing is a little late. His hands are sometimes a little late. Sometimes he'll lose at the catch point because of it. In run defense, he's really inconsistent setting the edge, and he's allowed rushers to get to the corner pretty much at will. He will over pursue sometimes when he blitzes off the backside. And, one of the things that has been kind of his calling card has been he's kind of a slow processor in the red zone, and he doesn't have great vision to locate routes and receivers. And, he just has a lack of understanding of offensive and defensive, what the intent of an opposing offense is and what the intent of the defense is. He's not great in the off coverage. So, sometimes he gets inconsistent with his spacing on deep routes and underneath zone. So, this is why, they should have kept Deshaun Jameson. This is why when you have good corners, you treat them like gold bullion and you don't let them get out of your building. Because once you don't have good corners, then you're adding the Trace Swillings of the world to your roster. And that's where the Niners are at. They let Deshaun Jameson get away at the cutdown. Now he's in Carolina. And now instead of being able to lean on Deshaun Jameson for this roster spot with Womack going down, now they got to go to Trace Swilling. and Swilling is on a much lower level than Deshaun Jameson. He's been in camp with the Niners. He knows their defense. It's not like he doesn't know the defense. He does. And, he's got some experience and there is some athleticism there, but there's a lot of weaknesses in his game. And he's more of a special teamer. And if you ask him to play consistent pass coverage, you're probably going to be ruining the day that you let go of Deshaun Jameson. So this is what happens. This is why cornerback depth is so incredibly valuable. This is why you wanted to keep Jameson. This is why they should have cut Matt Pryor or Jalen Moore and kept Deshaun Jameson. But looking at the Niners going into week 2, you've got Mooney Ward at left corner. You got Demo Lenore playing the nickel spot. You got Ambry Thomas starting at right corner. And then there's Isaiah Oliver. And now they have Trey Swilling. So if it gets to a point where you're leaning on Trey Swilling, you're probably in a world of hurt, and you're probably going to get burned. So he's not a very good player. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you just because he's wearing the Niner colors that he's a real good player. Now, he played better as camp went on. He played faster and with better overall awareness as the training camp progressed, as the summer progressed. He found a way to the practice squad, but he ain't Samuel Womack, and he ain't anything close. So if the Rams or the Giants or Arizona or Dallas or any of these teams that the Niners play in the next 4 to 5 weeks, if these guys put 4 wide receivers on the field and you've got to lean on Trey Swilling to man one of the corner spots, you're probably hurting, and it probably is going to burn you. And that's just kind of the way it is. The secret to pass coverage is pass coverage. In other words, there is no secret to pass coverage. You got to have guys. You got to have guys who can cover. You have to have guys who can play man-to-man. You got to have guys that can mirror top-tier athletes up and down the field. And they don't have that in Trey Swilling. So this is where the cutoff is. When you run out of guys, you run out of guys. Right now, the Niners have Quantrez Knight on the practice squad, but he also has speed issues. Maybe is more of a safety. They've got Darrell Luter Jr. on the PUP list. At some point, they could call him back off the PUP list. I think there's reason to believe he can play corner. Womack is designated to return. He'll probably be back in, November? Maybe early December. He'll be back. That's what you can expect there. He's probably going to be gone for 6 weeks, maybe 8. And what it really comes down to is if they've got to lean on Trey Swilling, they're probably going to be in a world of hurt. But there you go. There's the move of the day. Trey Swilling called off the practice squad. Samuel Womack put on the injured reserve. And cross your fingers that Swilling doesn't need to play coverage. All right, thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.